Well, Reg, we have a challenge this year like none other. So many exciting things happening at the Hope Center Ministry, and so brief a time to share them. We typically gather here at His Hands every year for our annual banquet, and this seemed a fitting place to start. Jesus' words seem so pertinent to all of our lives in recent months, perhaps especially to those we serve through the Hope Center Ministry. "Come to me," he said, "all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It's our goal tonight that you experience the heart of the Hope Center Ministry, that you get a sense of the love of Jesus Christ that is poured out through our staff and volunteers into the lives of those we serve.
You know, 2020 has really been the year of changing and shifting and pivoting, and it's no different here at the Hope Center and our banquet for this year. I know I always look forward to being inside His Hands Church for a wonderful dinner and a time of fellowship and a great speaker. We're going to try to condense all of that into just a short time with you tonight. And we want to thank everybody who's tuning in, our table host, our ambassadors, our guests, gathering either in small groups there in your home, or maybe it's just an individual or a couple joining us online, along with hundreds of other people. So let's not think about the circumstances. Let's just put our minds in the mindset of an annual Hope Center banquet and the opportunity that we have to tell you about the great things that are going on here and give you an opportunity to participate as well. Now, Cindy knows this, but many of you may not. This year marks the 30th year of ministry for the Hope Center here in Woodstock and metropolitan Atlanta. And we are thrilled to be celebrating this very special occasion with you tonight. You know that your support is crucial to the future impact of the Hope Center and the lives that are saved through this ministry. We are grateful to welcome you and to have this chance to introduce you to someone who wanted to thank you personally for the impact you've had on her life and the Hope Center impact on her life. Take a look.
My kids, they're both born in July, so we do one party. The first time we got pregnant, we were like so excited that we like told all of our family in that party 2 years ago. And so when we told them 2 or 3 weeks or 5 weeks after that, after we told them, we had the miscarriage. Right away, I was like, oh, I'm going to the Hope Center because, you know, that's support. And I had the miscarriage and I just decided like, I'm not even gonna call them. I'm not even gonna, because I was like so sad. And then like everybody else knows that you were pregnant. So everybody's like, I'm sorry. I mean, it makes it harder. So then we got pregnant a second time and we were excited, but we were cautious. And so we decided not to tell anybody. We had the miscarriage again at 10 weeks. We went to get an ultrasound and the lady's face was, I would never forget her face, because even though she tried to hide it, her face was, you know, when you're like scared, and she was like, oh, you're like 5 weeks. And I'm like, I can't be 5 weeks. The third time, it was the same thing. But it was earlier. So then we were like, okay, we're not gonna try anymore. You know, like for me, I was broken. Like after those 3 losses, I was completely broken. It's so hard to open up, you know, even to your husband. Because you see that they're also going through grief. So he wants to make you happy. He wants you to be happy, and you can't be happy. So I felt like I couldn't really grieve, you know, because I had to continue, I had to be a mom, I had to be a wife, and I didn't want to break his heart. Like, it would be like, why are you sad? You know, it would make it harder on him. So for me, it was like, it was so hard to just get through that bump. But he says, I will send out an army to guide you. And that's the song. I will send out an army to guide you. And I just felt like he was sending an army, you know, with people from church that were praying for us, and, you know, people in the Hope Center praying for us and showing us that those things, you just knew that God was, that he's sending an army for me, because that's what I need. Like, just one person is not enough. The fourth time, we were like, we're not telling anybody. And then when we found the heartbeat, it was just like, I mean, I couldn't stop crying. He couldn't stop crying. The Hope Center, my husband and I went in together, and they were just, it's so nice. I was scared too, because I was like, what if they don't find what if the heartbeat doesn't beat anymore, you know? They were super nice. They were super excited. They showed us the baby. She was moving, and they were so excited. I was like so excited that I could be excited with somebody else, you know, because it's so hard to be excited when all of those things happen. And they were like, oh my gosh, they're so cute, or he's so cute, or she's so cute, because we didn't know what the baby was. And so, like, it's just so perfect that you could see like the shape of the baby and just know that everything's okay, and just God letting us be able to experience those things so that we can have peace in our hearts. Okay, the baby's okay. It's like you go back to like that time when I saw that ultrasound and I saw that lady's face, and she was so scared to tell me there's no heartbeat, and like see their faces all excited, and you know, like making cute comments about the baby, and then like you leave, you're about to head out, and then the nurse doesn't let you leave because she wants you to take a blanket, and the blanket says something super cute, and so you're like, okay, like it's just like God is just with these people. God is just like giving me hugs and hugs with these strangers I don't even know, and they're excited about my baby. They're more excited than my own family, because my own family can even show excitement because of what we went through. Sometimes I feel like people think, oh, the Hope Center, they help people because, you know, they might not want to go through with the pregnancy and stuff, but it's not just that. You know, it's not just helping someone because they want to make the decision whether to go through a pregnancy or not. It's also like sometimes you're just overwhelmed. Sometimes you just need someone to pray for you. Sometimes you also need, like, economically, you need that too. So I feel like they are there to support you, and it's a way to show God's love through what they do. And that's why I feel like it's like so important for them to know that, you know.
You know, Reg, it's such a joy to be part of the Hope Center ministry, seeing the Lord work in and through the lives of our clients. It's impossible to fathom the impact of a long arc of faithfulness, but we know that our community has been blessed over the 30 years the Hope Center has been a part of it. And in the last decade alone, we've seen 926 life decisions among abortion-vulnerable women, 156 in the last year. Many people may not realize that the Hope Center name is an acronym, Helpful Options in Pregnancy Education. We've seen a lot of growth over 30 years, including the expansion of our medical clinic in 2016 for the purpose of diagnosing pregnancy and providing decision support by a trained medical team. It's our delight this evening to announce a new name for the clinic, Options Medical Clinic, and a new logo as well. In keeping with our brand, we've updated the logo for the Hope Center as well. In 2020, we were given the opportunity through a grant through Focus on the Family to partner with a full-service marketing company. They helped us design the logo, and the website, and are now working with us on Google AdWords advertising, search engine optimization, all for the purpose of reaching more women and equipping them to choose life.
All of these are great things, and they're not possible without your financial support. And that's why we want to thank you for your time tonight and throughout the year in supporting the Hope Center. Cindy, I know you wanted to share a donor testimonial this year. We always love the client testimonies and are so encouraged by those. But this year we're including a donor testimony, and we want you to meet Greg and Allie. They are two such donors. Allie has recently transitioned into the role of Community Engagement Director at the Hope Center. So she's gone from volunteer, donor to all in. She's 100% now, and there's no turning back. So we're excited about that. And as you're going to hear, their passion for life has been reflected in numerous ways as they've partnered with the Hope Center to equip pregnant women to choose life. So let's meet Greg and Allie.
Hi, we're the Latoras. I'm Greg.
I'm Allie, and we have partnered with the Hope Center for quite a number of years now. I became an advocate, a volunteer advocate, about 5.5 years ago. When I was 17, I found out I was pregnant, and the first initial response was, how do I fix this situation and get out of this situation as quickly as possible without anyone knowing. And long story, I was at the abortion clinic and ready to proceed forward with the procedure, and at the last minute decided I couldn't do it and changed my mind. And our daughter is now 17 years old. Her name is Mackenzie. So I remember there was one Sunday at church and the sermon was on giving. And I remember just hearing God loud and clear that day saying, you need to get back on track with giving. And I remember coming home that day and telling Greg, you know, this is what I heard God say loud and clear. And it was also in the middle of a job transition for him. And I remember he looked at me like a deer in headlights.
I remember that day well because it was a loud and clear message during church, but I didn't expect her to come home and, you know, right away start pushing that. For me, I'm kind of the savior of the family and wanted to help, but it's scary for me to put money towards something that's not paying down debt or putting it in our savings and making sure our family's comfortable and that we're, you know, on the right track for our lives. So it was a kind of a little bit of a hurdle for me to give into that and to have faith that it would be okay. And, you know, we started giving and slowly stepping it up, and you know, all along the way it was, you know, it was God showing His faith and taking care of us and making sure that if we were faithful that He would return that to us.
He has abundantly blessed us in many, many ways. So back in the late spring of this year, I started going to the Lord daily in prayer about my career. My heart has such a passion for this ministry, but I honestly just never thought about a career here. But the executive director, Cindy, approached me one evening when I was here volunteering and mentioned the possibility of a brand new role opening up here at the center. It would be a full-time role and community engagement director. The more I thought about it, the more it just definitely sounded like the right fit, and continued to pray about it. And then I was presented with the offer to come on board. And every day that I'm here, that I walk into the Hope Center, I know that this is where God wants me. I felt Him calling, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm happy to serve this ministry and our clients and our community.
What an inspiring message. We are so blessed to have Allie on our team and to have Greg and Allie among our hundreds of Life Champion monthly supporters. As I mentioned earlier, the Hope Center ministry encompasses the Options Medical Clinic here in Woodstock, ImageClear Ultrasound Mobile, which serves the city of Atlanta, and Seeds Thrift Store, which, as we'll see, feels more like a boutique than a resale shop. Equipping pregnant women to choose life may begin with a pregnancy test and ultrasound, but it certainly doesn't stop there. Our expectant families are encouraged to participate in the Earn While You Learn program, coming in every 2 weeks during their pregnancy and up until their child's second birthday. The Hope Center team continues walking alongside them as they learn about preparing for childbirth, taking care of a newborn, and even navigating the early toddler years. The Seeds Thrift Store is a great resource for our program participants and for our community. The gently used clothing, furniture, and home decor are made available for great prices, and all sales contribute to the vision of the Hope Center, a community where every life is valued and families thrive in the love of Christ.
Very impressive, very exciting. Well, it is time for our featured speaker tonight. And Cindy, you met Shawn Carney back when the 40 Days for Life campaign kicked off in Marietta last fall. And you've been excited about bringing him to the Hope Center banquet for a long time now, to have him share his passion for life and his great encouragement about how lives are being saved worldwide because of people getting involved. Here's the great deal. Shawn has taken his normal presentation and reduced it down to about the best 17-minute crash course on this subject you're going to find anywhere. And by the way, that's at no extra charge. So we're excited to have Shawn with us tonight and to share this great story. Let's join him and listen in.
Hi, this is Shawn Carney, the President and CEO of 40 Days for Life, and I hope you are well. I am sitting in the headquarters of 40 Days for Life, which is the now closed Planned Parenthood abortion facility in College Station, Texas. This facility was built in 1999. There were 6,400 abortions done in this facility before it closed in 2013. But in 2004, we saw something happen outside that is happening in your great state of Georgia and around the country, and that is local people doing what they can, putting all their trust in God to help end abortion where they live. We did the first ever 40 Days for Life campaign right outside this facility in 2004, and it was very simple. It was 40 days of prayer, 40 days of fasting, and 40 days of peaceful vigil, 24 hours a day, right out there on the sidewalks, 24 hours. And it helped drop local abortion numbers in this building by 28%. It got 1,000 new people involved, but we never imagined that it would go anywhere beyond our community of College Station, Texas. And then in 2007, we launched 40 Days for Life as a nationally coordinated effort after multiple cities kept asking us, how did you do this? How did you, sign people up? How did you get the media involved? How did you see abortion numbers go down? And so we launched it in the fall of 2007, hoping that we would get 20 to 25 cities, and we ended up with 89 cities in 33 states during that first fall 2007 campaign. That led to a spring campaign, and for all these years since, we've done 2 campaigns per year, and we have seen God use this simple effort, just as He uses the Hope Center to save lives and end abortion at the most important level in our country, the local level. It doesn't take a genius to say that 2020 is a unique year, to put it lightly, in the history of America. But it's a very serious year, not just because we had a pandemic and not just because we have civil unrest, but I believe our response to the pandemic, our response to the civil unrest defines who we are as a people. We're taking the temperature on our culture right now, but also it decides what our future looks like. Is it a future of hope, or is it a future of despair and complaining and godlessness? And obviously many in our culture some have just chosen to go insane this year and completely lose their mind. And we see the rioting and the chaos in the streets and all of that mayhem. But that still is a symptom. And it's a symptom of the noise in America and the noise in our culture. And we need the silence of God. We need His mercy, we need His peace, and we need His rest. And over the last number of decades, we have beat up the family, and we have attacked the most vulnerable among us, the unborn. And Mother Teresa put it as simply as anyone could. She said, if we can tell a mother that she can end the life of her child, how can we tell anyone else not to kill anyone? And once the unborn are on the table, once they are eligible receivers, that we can decide who lives and who dies, we will turn on each other, and we will have civil unrest, and we won't know how to deal with tragedy. And I think in the midst of all of this uncertainty and fatigue, you know, we're just tired of all this every time you watch the news. Our culture needs the good news of the pro-life movement. It needs to know about the Hope Center and your wonderful leader, Cindy, and the great work that you do, but that you have done, and that all pregnancy resource centers have done over the nearly 50 years that we've had legalized abortion. You're not going to see it reported in the media, but over half of the abortion facilities in America have closed since 1991. And during that time, we haven't seen Americans sit on their couches and grumble about the state of the culture. Quite the opposite. They have rolled up their sleeves, they've fallen on their knees and prayed, and they've gotten to work. And that's why pregnancy resource centers, just like the Hope Center, outnumber abortion providers 5-to-1 throughout America, and that ratio skyrockets when you go to the great state of Georgia, which has become the standard of what it means to care for women before, during, and after they choose life, but also to care for women before, during, and after if they do go through with the abortion. Your state is the leader right now of the pro-life movement. And I don't say that lightly, because I am in Texas, I am from Texas, I'm a proud Texan, and Texans, as you know, we think that we're better than everybody else. And so I say that with a heavy heart, but Georgia is leading the way in this great movement. And it's something that needs to be shared. And it's why this event is so important. It's why our decision and how we respond to all of the madness that we see in our culture and how divided everyone is. This is an issue that we're glad to be divided on. There's no common ground with deciding whether we're going to take the life of a baby or not. And that is why we see so many people jumping to be on the right side of history when it comes to abortion. We see the women who have had an abortion, who now lead the March for Life in Washington, D.C. We see a record number of abortion facility workers and doctors who are leaving the abortion industry. This isn't some new trend. This isn't a fad that's happening, you know, once or twice every 10 years. It has happened from the beginning, from when Dr. Bernard Nathanson, the founder of NARAL, witnessed his own abortion and the silent scream and had a conversion. And just since him, doctors and Planned Parenthood workers and so many. The woman who ran this Planned Parenthood, Abby Johnson, who walked, at the time our office was right next door, she witnessed an abortion and walked right into my office. This really is a movement of converts, and a movement of converts has to be a movement of hope. And our culture needs hope. It needs good news, and you have good news. The Hope Center has good news. And that's why it's so important to put one foot in front of the other. And for those of us in the pro-life movement, I firmly believe this is a Christian movement. It is a religious movement. You cannot run out the door and say you're going to end abortion and just do it on your own. As another great Mother Teresa quote, "I'm not a social worker, I do this for Jesus Christ." We have to put God first in this battle because of what abortion is, and because of what it does, and because of who it does it to. There is simply nothing like abortion in the history of the world. and the pain that comes through those who have been through an abortion, but also the pain that comes to those who have participated in an abortion. And when you have a woman walk into the Hope Center, it is completely different from walking into what this building once was. We have remodeled it and now it's beautiful and we have a wonderful memorial to the unborn. But if you came in here on November 2nd of 2014, the first day that I ever stepped in here after it was a closed Planned Parenthood, it was as you would imagine. It was dirty, it was dark, and it was just downright creepy. And it has been blessed, it has been exercised, it's had every pastor known to man through here, but it's been transformed. And when a woman walks into the Hope Center, and when she would have walked into a place like here, it is completely different. And the difference is not just the name on the door, but it's the actual virtue, the virtue of hope. And that hope comes from Jesus Christ. And so I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you, and I want you to know that at the grassroots level, the level that matters, not what the media says and not what always happens in Washington, D.C., but at the grassroots level, whether we have pro-abortion presidents or whether we have pro-life presidents like we have right now, the pro-life movement at the grassroots level has had great resolve and fortitude to go to work for the women who we go to school with and go to church with and who we know in our community. And that's what the nearly 3,000 pregnancy resource centers in America are doing. That's what the Hope Center is doing. That's what the other centers around the great state of Georgia are doing. And that's why we see that 33% of Planned Parenthood facilities have closed the last decade. 33% of Planned Parenthood facilities have closed just in the last 10 years, including this building, showing that with God, all things are possible. So 2020 is a challenge. In 2019, the abortion rate in America dropped significantly. It was a great year. But in 2020, it's gone up. And I know the Hope Center has seen an increase in clients. Most pregnancy centers have since COVID-19 hit. And you know, we entered this I'm tired of saying the term the new normal, but whatever this is that we're living in 2020, abortion numbers have gone up. And so that means we need to show our support. And I know in a moment you'll have an opportunity to give a monthly gift and also to give a one-time gift. And I encourage you to do both, to use this time where we're all sacrificing in some regard in our lives. We're definitely being inconvenienced in our lives, but that we also sacrifice financially. What a greater sacrifice to be able to do that during a time when we're having to adjust our lives in so many other ways. I do want to tell a story about when I first came in here, because it really speaks to the importance of the Hope Center. As I mentioned, this was a closed, dark abortion facility, and Planned Parenthood had moved out. And they took everything. I mean, they ripped out everything and took it and left town, thank God. But as we walked around the building, there was a pastor blessing the building as I went through. And in this facility, there are 4 surgical rooms where they do abortions, but most of the abortions were done in one surgical room. And I'll never forget going in that room, and the lights were flickering. I don't use the word creepy lightly. And everything was gone. Even the table where thousands of women had laid there and had their abortion, the table was gone. But in that room, they left one thing, and that was a dangling mobile that you would hang over a baby's crib. It had like balloons or something on it. And it was hanging literally by a jumbo paper clip. That's what was hanging this baby mobile. And it was hanging over exactly where the women were laying to have their abortion. And it absolutely broke my heart but it made me grateful, not only as a Christian and as an American, but grateful that we have people like you in every city across the country that go to work to fight this distraction that is required for abortion to survive. A distraction in the media, a distraction with how it's debated on television, with politicians, at your Thanksgiving Day table. There's always distractions to get people away from what is actually happening, even for the woman at the very moment she's having the abortion. Planned Parenthood is trying to distract her from the brutal reality of what is happening to her baby boy or baby girl. And that hit me hard when I saw those baby mobiles just hanging down over where the abortion table is. And it was a reminder for me that we have to put first things first. We have to put God ahead of us in all of this work. We have to do this for Him, and we have to remember that no matter what we do, He knows every hair on our head, and He does not forget one single aborted baby, and He loves these children, He loves these women, He loves these abortion workers more than we ever can. And so we serve Him, and we trust Him with the results. And we've been very blessed. 40 Days for Life, we've helped 206 abortion facility workers have a change of heart and leave their jobs. Abby Johnson was the 26th abortion facility worker to leave her job during a 40 Days for Life. So we've helped 206 of them. We've seen 107 abortion facilities close, including this one that we're in. And we've seen over 17,000 babies saved from abortion. Right now, we're in the midst of the largest 40 Days for Life campaign ever. Despite the civil unrest, despite all the craziness you see when you turn on the television, despite the coronavirus, we have a record number of cities. 588 cities in over 30 countries are participating in the largest 40 Days for Life campaign ever right now. And we see the pregnancy resource centers serving more women than they ever have before. And so I want to encourage you, there's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot of good going on in the pro-life movement, despite nearly 50 years since the Supreme Court forced abortion on our country. So this is a great time to share the good news that you're doing in the Hope Center. Thank you, Cindy, your wonderful, wonderful leader in managing the Hope Center throughout the pandemic and the constant changes, and even this event that we're participating in tonight. She has done a fantastic job, and we need to pray to God for the fortitude, and we need to support her. And so I want to encourage you, give a gift. You know what you can give. This is on the internet, so you can just turn it off. There's no obvious pressure to give a donation, but you know what you can give. And I encourage you, if you can give $10,000, give it. If you can give $1,000, give it. 500, 50, 10, whatever it is you can give it, because it goes to the front lines of where you live. It's local. It goes to the Hope Center. It's tax deductible, and it will have a tremendous impact. I also want to encourage you to give monthly. I ran a local pro-life organization for 6 years. I know how far $10 a month goes at the local level and the national level. And so start somewhere. If you are not a monthly donor, this is the time to make that decision to do it. If you don't do it today, you're probably going to get busy with everything else, and you're not going to do it at another time of the year. So make that decision. If you're currently a monthly donor, this is the time to go up $5, $10, $20 a month, whatever you can increase your monthly donation to. It makes a tremendous difference, and it's needed because abortions are going up in 2020, and that is our first right in our great country, is our right to life. And we remind our fellow brothers and sisters in our country of that. Everything else will follow. So thank you for your work. Thank you for all your support. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you in person one day.
Thanks so much, Shawn, for that encouraging word, and what an encouragement to everyone watching tonight, supporters of the Hope Center, that the difference one life can make. And I think my takeaway is the fact that an investment in the Hope Center makes an eternal impact. That really magnifies everything.
Yes, it does, Reg. And our plan is to make an even bigger impact in God's kingdom in the year ahead. Our plans are to secure and open an Atlanta satellite of the Options Medical Clinic with space enough to provide the Earn While You Learn program for our clients served in the city. We know our virtual attendees will want to be a part of achieving the vision of every life being valued and families thriving in the love of Christ. Before we give them that opportunity, let's hear about a life rescued, much as Shawn described.
It was like a week without us talking, and then randomly I get a message from her.
I felt the symptoms, and you know, us women, we know when our body is changing. So I texted him.
I didn't know really how much to believe that it was true, but I was like, okay, it's a chance it could be true, so I'm gonna do what I have to do, take responsibility.
I was going through a lot at that time, and me and him, we were not speaking terms when I found out. So I was really even scared to let him know. I told my sister, I told my closest friend, and they was like, get a pregnancy test, see what happens. But I wanted to take it with him, so he believed me. Like,
we took it in the woods, because we had no place to take it, you know.
Yeah, because we're still young, so yeah. We had to do what we had to do.
At first, we thought it was negative, because it was just that one solid line. Then we sat there, time passed, and then it was a faint blue line that just popped up. And then I called my brother, and I was like, Fred, what does this mean? What does two blue lines mean? He's like, dude, it means she's pregnant.
He was automatically set on an abortion, just off the base of our age, and we're not together, and bringing a child into a complicated relationship is not the best situation.
I was scared, I'm gonna be honest. I was scared a little bit. But I did have a little bit of excitement, because I was like, oh wow, this is my own creation, you know? It's a little bit of me, a little bit of her. But in the beginning, I was leaning more towards the abortion side of it, because I didn't know what to do. My father was, you know, in and out of my life. Co-parenting, you do the whole visitation. The parent gets, I get my child for the weekend, and so we were doing that for a while, and I could not stand it. I don't know, I grew resentment to my dad just based on how he treated my mom, and I saw just how he carried himself as a man. And a little bit of it was hypocritical, because he was in ministry. So I was like, how are you, you know, preaching to people every Sunday, but then you turn around and you don't even treat your own situation with care. So as I've gotten older, I've learned to forgive. I can at least speak to my dad, but you know, I still kind of always, certain thoughts still linger in the back of my head.
We were actually just going in for a pricing. They wouldn't give us a pricing over the phone. I don't have any insurance. So this was the abortion clinic out here. It was actually the cheapest one we found. So I said, we'll take that drive down there. And we actually never went inside the building at all. We're pulling up to the curb. It's a stop sign. We're about to make a left. But she stops us, but she's been trying to stop us since we pulled into the parking lot.
I know, like, I was just like standing at the stop sign. I may have run up. My guess is I probably did absolutely run up to your car.
So I said the least we could do is give her the time of the day. We still don't know what we're doing at this point. It'd be good to hear from somebody that has so much knowledge. So we rolled down our window a little bit, but she said roll it down some more so we could talk. I said, okay, she's taking initiative.
Yeah, my heart was just to be really persistent.
So she stuck her head in the car. She was like, take my number.
Until I could give that piece of paper to them that had the information on the Hope Center, and then and just resources to them, I was very persistent in making sure.
God loves you. God has a plan for you. And I like hearing that type of stuff. My faith was low just based on what I've been through in the past year. So I used to be really close with God. My family used to be really outgoing. We used to go to church, but I stopped praying. I stopped doing everything, you know, you were supposed to be doing, because I was just like, oh, where's my life going? What's the purpose of this and that?
when I had spoken with them, I wanted them to know that God had a plan for them. My heart was just excited to be able to show them hope.
Sure enough, Rachel was on the grass. They were doing their work, and she stopped me and Joyce, and she gave us some information. We took that.
They gave me the first free ultrasound. I was like, oh yeah, I'm keeping her, him, twins, triplets, whatever. It may be, I'm gonna keep it. I don't remember how far along I was, but I wasn't no more maybe than like 8 or 10 weeks. She was still a little peanut size. And I was still excited just to even know that she had a heartbeat, and I could have had an abortion and she has a heartbeat. But the Hope Center was very inviting and warm, and I love when they pray over me. I love the support from them, and it made me feel like a little family, because I really felt alone in there. I was like, I don't even know what this process is. She made me feel really welcome. It was Miss Cindy, and she prayed over me, and we shared, and we cried together for like 30 minutes. I know he was in the car hot, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I love the Hope Center as a whole. Everybody that I've encountered, inside or outside, really a comfortable feeling. That whole conversation made me feel at ease, because like we already spoken about, my support system is kind of sad. So I really feel support from even y'all, and from everybody.
Thank you, Joyce and Stephen, for a great testimonial, and boy, the encouragement of both our donors and our clients, just incredible every year. I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing from them tonight. Well, with everything that we've heard so far, you're likely and eager to know how you can be a part of the life-saving and equipping work of the Hope Center, even a part of our goal to find and open an Atlanta satellite office so that the ongoing support of the Earn While You Learn program can be replicated in the city, and a bigger dent made in Fulton County's close to 30% abortion rate. Above everything, we're asking that you become a monthly Life Champion donor. Now, Life Champions are foundational to every life saved. This online banquet is all about saving children, and we pray that you can help. I'm going to be bold here. The Bible says that we have not because we ask not. So I'm going to keep it biblical. And in addition to becoming a monthly Life Champion donor, I'm going to ask you to consider one generous gift to the Hope Center tonight. One generous gift. Now, let's put some perspective around that. A one-time donation of $100 provides pregnancy tests for an entire month. A one-time donation of $250 provides a crib and a blessing bag for a baby saved. A one-time donation of $450 keeps our ICU mobile on the road for an entire month. A one-time donation of $1,200 provides curriculum for our Earn While You Learn program. A one-time donation of $5,000 provides marketing to reach abortion-vulnerable clients. A one-time donation of $10,000 provides maintenance and service for our mobile for the entire year. And now for the big ask. But we serve a big God, so here goes. A one-time donation of $100,000 provides for the full complement of staffing for our new Atlanta satellite. $100,000. So here's what we're asking. Go online right now. It's not rude to turn your back on what we're doing. Go ahead and find your way online to supporthopecenter.com. That's supporthopecenter.com, and be a genuine Life Champion, life saver. You see, every investment in life matters, and I ask that you finish our time together by making your two best, most generous investments right now. And perhaps you'd like to be among several of our donors that double their investment through employer matching gifts. So please stay the course that God has inspired. Go online right now and partner to save the life of one child tonight. Cindy?
Thanks so much for your support for the Hope Center ministry. I look forward to the reward we'll receive from our God-inspired obedience. Now please, complete the investment the Lord has laid on your heart. And one more favor, please share this video. Give your friends and family the chance to be Life Champion supporters as well. I've been amazed at how the song The Blessing, which originated out of Elevation Worship, has circled the globe, pouring out the words of Numbers 6:24. Words the Lord gave Aaron to speak over his people. We'd like to close tonight by praying that blessing over you. May the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen.